right, welcome back, everybody. We are here at the Week 2 press conference with inside linebackers coach and defensive coordinator Peter Sirmon ahead of Cal's road trip to Auburn to face the Tigers on Saturday at Jordan-Hare Stadium. We'll go to Jeff Ferrato from the Cal Sports Report for the first question.
Peter, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. You guys played, I would guess, one of your better defensive games last year against these guys. They appear to be somewhat different offensively, especially a wide receiver. Can you talk about the challenges they're going to pose you guys?
Yeah, they've done a very nice job of an influx of talent via, it looks like, the portal and from the high school recruiting area. So, that's always a big concern, is just the amount of speed that they're going to be able to put on the field. And then, you go ahead and you buzz through their last game and talk about a prolific air attack. I mean, that ball was getting pushed down the field. The amount of explosive receptions was remarkable if you're an offensive coach, and it's concerning if you're a defensive coach.
Ford, I don't think, had a particularly great game against you guys last year. Obviously, he did whatever he wanted the other day, but the competition level is different. But what are you seeing in him?
I think he's a very talented player. He runs better than you think. Watching their season last year, I thought he did a really nice job in some of the run game and distributing the ball, especially against Georgia, Alabama last year. He has had some opportunities to produce some explosive runs. He moves in the pocket well, and then he throws a really nice ball. I think it's just if he can find his rhythm, I think he's a very, very tough quarterback to defend. In regards to last season, the game, I think we ended up playing too many plays. As I look back on last season's, I think we ended up playing 78 plays. We were okay, but some of the crucial third downs, and then I think we had, by my math, we had 6 fourth down attempts. We were 50-50 on those. So just kind of the critical downs and the plays that ultimately win or lose a game. We got to make one more.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Matt Moreno from Cal Rivals.
Morning, Coach.
Good morning.
What was kind of some of your general takeaways from what you guys did on Saturday?
In the staff room, Matt, I thought that we kind of floundered around on defense the first quarter. It wasn't terrible, but I thought there were some contested balls that we could have made some plays on. Number 3, the UC Davis Lamb, the running back, is exactly what we thought he was. He's a strong runner. I thought we did a fine job of fitting it on about a 3rd and 2, but he broke through several tackles. So I just didn't like the urgency in which we played. I felt we needed to play more aggressive and not just catch and receive blocks, but try to be more aggressive on how we take on blocks and how we play our leverage. And I think the guys that responded to that in the second half. The takeaways were huge, and then I don't believe they converted a 3rd down in the second half. So that goes a long way to getting off the field, obviously.
All right, we'll go to Steve Croner from the USF Chronicle next.
Morning, Peter.
Good morning, Steve.
Hey, sometimes sacks can be overrated or misinterpreted. You didn't have any sacks on Saturday, but certainly in the second half, the pressure on Hastings increased. Just overall, how would you rate the pass rush without a sack?
You kind of hit the nail on the head there, Steve. It's a very, very important statistic. I think it probably gets blown out of proportion because of the amount of QB hits and the pressures are as valuable as sacks. Getting a quarterback off the spot. I think you're always looking for hits and moving the launch point for the quarterback. Sacks obviously are going to go a long way in terms of just the yardage and the hidden yards and the opportunities to get them behind the sticks, especially if you can find a sack on 1st or 2nd down. We ultimately need to get the quarterback on the ground, but I think Ryan McCulloch has some really nice sacks, had a couple hits on the quarterback, and every once in a while schemes, the ball gets out or the pocket's so deep that it's hard to get the quarterback on the ground. So, effective pass rushers, like you said, sometimes they'll show up in the stat sheet, but sometimes you got to watch the game and really see how they impacted the overall offensive, timing.
We'll go back to Jeff.
Peter, you guys dealt with, in practice last year, you dealt with Sam Jackson as the quarterback on the other side of the ball, and now he's a wide receiver. What did you see on the tape of him? He scored a long touchdown. And just how dynamic of an athlete is he that you have to be aware of?
Well, we all know Sam's a fantastic athlete. He has burst. He has top end speed. He's extremely elusive in space. I'm happy that he's found an opportunity to go out and help a team and contribute. There's a lot of players on that team that we need to be concerned about. We're probably a little more aware of Sam just because of the familiarity. But it's a lot of speed on that field, and we'll have to play really good technique, good leverage, and play with great fundamentals and tackle better than we did last Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll go back to Matt.
You mentioned missed tackles there. I know Coach Wilcox mentioned that as well. Felt like a couple of them, if you made them, would have stopped drives. Is it overly concerning right now, or is it something you guys can work through?
I think we'll just continue to work through it. It wasn't necessarily an egregious missed tackle in terms of leverage or misfits. We just have to do a better job of putting some more body parts on the ball carrier, continuing to emphasize the finished part of our tackles, proper leverage, proper wrap up, driving our feet through contact. And, I think one of the most challenging things that you do on defense, especially early in the season, is tackling. It's the space, it's the speed, it's all those things that, we spend a lot of time in practice, talking about alignments, leverage, but the speed of the game, there's always an adjustment. It doesn't matter where, if I was playing in the NFL or in high school and college, the first game, and just the speed and the tempo of how the plays kind of fall off a couple of them, in my mind, kind of fell off the shelf. They get horizontal on you, and sometimes you don't have ideal leverage to finish it. So we'll just continue to work through it. We're continuing to tackle every day in practice, an individual. So I expect we'll see some improvement.
You mentioned Ryan, but how do you assess kind of the overall play of the outside linebacker group, especially with David Reese not being out there as much?
I think Vic's done a really nice job of bringing that group along. There's been a good mixture. You saw Xavier out there, who's a big, heavy edge player for us. I thought Sirmon did some good things, actually rushing the quarterback in a limited role. Sheck is continuing to develop as an every down player for us. I think he provides us with some strength at the point of attack. Ryan McCulloch, I think, is continuing. You saw pass rush ability. You saw him, on one of the plays, I think he's about 19 yards deep on a pass drop. So he really has kind of a really, really wide toolbox in terms of being able to rush the passer, set an edge, and then be able to play in space. And then, those guys got some more opportunity with David in a limited role.
And then one last one for me, just Teddy and Cade play a ton in this game. Do you have to develop some more depth there, or is it just going to be the case where they're on the field a lot for you guys this year?
I feel good about those two guys. They did play quite a bit. I feel really good about what Hunter Barth can do, and I need to find some roles for Hunter to get on the field. It is a long season, and for those guys to play such a high pitch count, I need to share that a little bit.
All right, we'll go to Thomas Dunn from Riker, California.
Good morning, Peter. You mentioned game planning with Reese being limited. How do you continue to game plan for Auburn, not necessarily knowing how much of a pitch count he may or may not be on?
We get used to this. There's always ups and downs with player availability, and kind of going back to two questions before. I think Vic's done a really nice job of developing his room. He did a nice job of identifying guys that were in the portal, that were available, that fit in what we're asking our edge players to do. And in that room, it's got to be the next player up mentality. I think they've done a nice job. I think we got up to 6 guys that can go out there and really put forth a winning effort. So it'll give if David's limited, it'll give those other 5 guys an opportunity to help the team.
Based on what you've been told, do you foresee to have him in full capacity?
That's a head coach question.
Thank you.